G-Man Boxing. Do you know what I mean? Every single live he donates. I see him on other lives donating. He's got the bag on it.
Alright people, this Tuesday we have a rematch that I've been looking forward to for a while now. I at one stage didn't think we'd actually get it because it seemed like both guys were going in opposite directions, but it's happened. It is a unification and it's a rematch from one of the best fights in 2019 gave us a lot of good fights. And a lot of the good fights in 2019 were high level fights. So it wasn't a case of you get two guys lower down the card who just let it all go. No, this 2019 was a year where we got good fights on big cards, in big high profile fights, and this was no different. Inoue versus Donaire, it's the rematch 2.5 years later in Japan again. Now, it's on a Tuesday morning, and I originally thought this was meant to be on Sky Sports because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Inoue is promoted by Bob Arum. Now I know Donaire, I'm not sure who Donaire is promoted by. I know he's been fighting on PBC a lot. Certainly his last two fights were, but I'm not 100% sure who he's with. But I just assumed because it was Top Rank with Inoue, Sky Sports would have it. But it's going to be shown on Top Rank's website, YouTube channel. So it's not too bad. It's free of charge. We'll get to watch it. And I took Tuesday off. So it's bank holiday in Ireland tomorrow. So I took an extra day, so we will do a live watch along for that, make no doubt about that, because this is a rematch that when it originally happened the first time, I think it happened on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and of course most people are working that time, so I didn't even get to watch it live. I had to watch it when I got home. So we're definitely doing a watch along for this, but I want to give a little breakdown in this, go into it, and just talk about both fighters' strengths and weaknesses. Now, because this is a rematch, we can look at the first fight and we can kind of pinpoint some of the things that Inoue does wrong, some of his weaknesses, and some of Nonito Donaire's weaknesses. Now we can I have to say, since this fight has happened, it's a strange one because although Nonito Donaire was the loser, he's gone on to get the win over Nordino Ballet for the WBC title, so he was able to become the oldest bantamweight champion in history. And he's since gone on to defend that. Now, Inoue has had a win over Jason Maloney, and I can't remember the other guy he fought, but that other guy he fought was tough as, I mean, he took shots like they were going out of fashion from Naoya Inoue, and that's bizarre. That's very bizarre. A puncher of his caliber, for someone to go in there and just start to hit me, just keep hitting me. It's bizarre. But I think that Donaire has done more in that time since the loss. I think it's all the more impressive because he's 39 years old now. It's not like we're talking about two guys who are in their primes who, have a fight at this time in their career and then they can just, still have great careers. Donaire's a Hall of Fame, but the fact he's doing it this late in his career, coming down in weight, I think it makes it all the more impressive. It really does. But let's have a little dive into this fight. And there's things I want to talk about that both guys, I believe, need to improve, and I believe both guys will more than likely do it, but how both guys can exploit it. So we'll look at Naoya Inoue. Now, when you look at Naoya Inoue, it's very rare we have a fighter who's come up from 108 pounds. He's gone all the way up to 118, and he's one of the few fighters where when he goes up in weight, his power, it's not just that it translates into the next division, because we don't often see that. A good example will be Charlo. Jamal Charlo, 154, was a tremendous puncher, but it's definitely not translated the same to middleweight. Well, Naoya Inoue, his power has increased per division, and you have to look at it in this way. Naoya Inoue, when he went from 108 pounds, he didn't go to flyweight, he went straight to 115, and he fought Omar Navarrete. I think that's how you pronounce his name, who at the time was a long-reigning champion. This wasn't like he took on some cream puff. He took on a long-reigning champion in that division, who I believe's only lost, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have even been to Nonito Donaire, only previous loss. So, Inoue is someone who's not shy of confidence, who's not shy of ability. And when you see him, his ability, his speed, his punch selection, his punching power, it's tremendous, and it's a frightening task for any 118 pounder, Donaire included. However, he does make mistakes, specifically defense. he can get, I say sometimes when I watch Inoue, especially when it's a long drawn out fight, in a sense of the guy he's in there with is tough, he can take his power. Inoue has great footwork, great boxing ability, he's got a decent enough judge of distance, but very good punch selection and fast hands. Alright, and there's a lot of power in them shots. He switches it up very well to head and body. I would say that Errol Spence, Canelo and Inoue, whatever order you want, but to me, they're the 3 best body punchers in the sport of boxing. Whatever order you'd like to have it in, I don't mind, but those 3 would be, in my opinion, the 3 best body punchers in boxing. And Naoya Inoue's ability to switch it up to head and body, to disguise headshots and then go to the body, as he did in the 11th round in their first fight, Nonito Donaire and Naoya Inoue. He was able to come in, he was able to lead with an uppercut, and as Donaire brought his elbow up, he brought it down, that little bit too slow, he was able to get in a body shot, and that was able to drop Nonito Donaire in that 11th round. Right, it was a very, very good shot, really was. But look on screen, right? This is his recent fight with Jason Maloney. Now, very short clip, I'll play it again for you. Look at that in real motion. What are you noticing? I'm going to play it now in slow motion, and this is what I mean about Naoya Inoue lacking defense at times. Specifically, his lack of head movement. Have a look on screen. This is in slow motion. Alright, Inoue comes in with the jab, right hand misses, open to a left hook, and he gets hit with that left hook from Jason Maloney. Why is that relevant? Well, he cannot afford to do that in this fight against Nonito Donaire. He was countered a couple of times with right hands in the first fight against Nonito Donaire. But for my money, the single hardest shot in the bantamweight division is Nonito Donaire's left hook. I would say that maybe Naoya Inoue, in terms of sheer heavy-handedness, he's probably the hardest puncher at 118 pounds in a sense of his power transitions into every shot. With Nonito Donaire, his power certainly does transition into most shots as well, but I suspect that his left hook, that's the hardest shot amongst them all. You don't want to be taking right hands from Nonito Donaire. I'm sure telling Naoya Inoue that, he'll tell you all about that. But the left hook specifically. And as well as that, we'll have a look here on screen. Now, this is actually one of the shots that opened up. Before I put it on screen, I'll just tell you about it. It was one of the shots that opened the cut on Naoya Inoue's eye. So we'll have a look here on screen, and then I'll slow it down for you. So this is the shot right here. Have a look there. Donaire has Inoue backed up. Inoue trying to exchange, but exchanging with his chin in the air, and he walks onto a left hook, and that buzzed him. Because as you can see, he holds on slightly to Nonito Donaire. That's in the second round. Now, he held Nonito Donaire a few times, and that's a strength I will talk about with Naoya Inoue later on in this video. Make no mistake about that. But that was one of the, I think that was the shot actually that actually opened up the cut, which ultimately I think led to the detached retina. Now let's have a look at this shot in slow motion. So Donaire is coming in, leads with a body shot, and is opening up on Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue is trying to exchange. He misses a shot, chin up in the air, and he kind of takes that, I want to say, as you can see there in the slow-mo replay, he doesn't land Nonito Donaire as flush as I'm sure he would have liked. Because as you can see there, right, he's essentially throwing the shot and landing almost with the finger part of the glove. So you can kind of see, like, just based on the view of the glove, he doesn't land fully with the kind of knuckle part. If he landed with the knuckle part of the glove on Naoya Inoue there, I genuinely think we would have seen a knockdown. I think that would have been a knockdown, because the left hook, as I said, is probably the single hardest shot in the bantamweight division when it's coming from Nonito Donaire. I will also see other occasions where Naoya Inoue was actually leaving his jab out way too long, and not, I've said before, I keep getting the names mixed up. Inoue is a decent enough judge of distance, but in the first Nonito Donaire fight, he was leaving the jab out too long, and he was letting Nonito Donaire, he was doing it whilst he was in range. So he was giving Nonito Donaire opportunities to counterpunch with the right hand. Now have a look on screen here. Here's a good example. So you see here, in a bit of exchange, Inoue leads with the left hand, chucks the left hand out, and then boom. It doesn't land flush, but Nonito Donaire steps in with a right hand. Now, ultimately, we did see that a right hand like that did eventually land in the fight for Nonito Donaire, and it nearly took Naoya Inoue out of the fight. This was in the 9th round, and this is a strength also that we need to talk about from Naoya Inoue. Have a look on screen. This is the 9th round when he buzzes Naoya Inoue. Look at that. The jab is left out too long. Nonito Donaire is able to counter over the top of that, and look at that. It was such a clean shot. Let's have a just look at it again, real quick. Jab out, bang. What a shot. And that's a strength for Naoya Inoue that we need to talk about. Many times we see with these big punchers, they can give it, but can they receive it? Was Naoya Inoue hurt there? He certainly was. But, nevertheless, he was able to recover. He was able to stay on his feet. And he showed, even though he admitted it in the post-fight, that he's never really been buzzed at all in his career. It's the first time he held. He knew how to survive. He was able to get through that 9th round. And then he was able to have his own success. As you'll see there on screen, one of the issues that Naoya Inoue, or that Nonito Donaire has, is that his defense is quite poor. I mean, look at that right there. You see the jab coming in from Naoya Inoue. It lands, no real problem on Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire, I find at times in his career, he's too reliant on just parrying the shots with the gloves, and sometimes he's just kind of happy to just kind of look at the opponent, wait for them to make the first move. They've already made the move, he's already taken a few shots, as you'll see in the Ryan Burnett fight. Ryan Burnett was just using fast combinations to sting Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire knows that he has tremendous punching power, but he's willing to take a few shots to receive it. In this division where these guys are quite fast, a lot of the times they're trying to get in and out before Nonito Donaire is able to get his shots off. And interestingly enough, Nonito Donaire has said that coming down from featherweight to super bantam back down to bantam, he was still, because of featherweight, he was at a complete disadvantage in terms of size. He was really trying to let the hard shots go, that single hard shot go on his opponent in order to kind of get their respect and try and put them in their places. Now, people like Frampton did state when he fought Donaire that Donaire hits very hard, but it's not anything that you can't deal with, but it does make you a bit cognizant. Now, he was still trying to do that against Naoya Inoue. He was still almost fighting, as he said to Jamie, I think it was who he said to, he was fighting a featherweight fight down at bantamweight, which is just the wrong thing to do. It would be like fighting a heavyweight fight when you're down at light heavyweight, being economical and looking for big shots. It's just not going to work. So I think what Nonito Donaire is going to need to do, and I know Inoue is going to be cognizant of it, is that he's going to be busier in this fight. He's not just going to be looking to counter over some of Naoya Inoue's weak shots. He's actually going to be looking to open up some more combinations on Naoya Inoue, probably be looking to back him up again the ropes and looking to do his work. Alright, now here's a little clip from the Nicholas Walters fight. Now obviously this is up at featherweight. Walters a much bigger guy than Naoya Inoue, but look at the exchange they get into and look at how open. There's a right hand straight away from Walters and an uppercut that goes in there, as you can see. Donaire has always had a very poor defense. He's always happy to take them shots. Walters proven, right hand goes in, no defense at all. Uppercut goes in, no defense at all. Right hand again, no defense at all. And then he gets eventually dropped. Now obviously we know that was up there at featherweight. This is going to be down, at bantamweight. But that defense, those defensive lapses from Nonito Donaire, they've always been prevalent. He is quite I don't want to say he's an easy fighter early on to outbox, but if you can stick him on the jab, which I suspect Naoya Inoue will do, you can have a lot of success. You definitely can. He's a boxer who, if you can just keep moving, keep your distance early on, you'll have a lot of success. So I think what Naoya Inoue is going to need to do in this fight is he's going to need to make the most of his strengths, which is his footwork, his judge distance, his power punching, and his speed. If he can do all that early on, whilst not getting into a shootout with Nonito Donaire, being cognizant of the fact that Nonito Donaire is going to be coming with a bit more volume in this fight, and cognizant of the fact that you can't be lazy with your shots, you can't be lazy with your head movement, you can't be lazy with your jab when you're leaving your lead hand out because you're going to get counted over the top. And Nonito Donaire is also going to be targeting Naoya Inoue's eye because it was a detached retina. He was the one who caused that, and I think he's going to be really looking to set attacks on that eye. It's still going to be a weak spot for Naoya Inoue, I believe anyway. And Donaire is going to be targeting that as well as looking to land over the hand, over counter right hands, over Naoya Inoue's jab, which he was able to do in the first fight. What Naoya Inoue is going to want to do, he's going to want to keep it at range early on. As I said, no defensive lapse, no leaving your hands down when you go into autopilot, no leaving your jab out for you to be countered. Keep a distant fight, a bit like what Devin Haney did in a way. Just keep it at range, use your jab, use your footwork, use your boxing ability, and then late on in the fight, as you did in the first fight, switch your attack up. So throw a couple of jabs, let an uppercut go, and then counters to Nonito Donaire's body. That body is 39 years old. It's been coming down from featherweight to bantamweight. It's going to be weakened still to this day. It's going to be weakened from weight cuts. All right. Yes, he's more natural at bantamweight than he was at 126, but nevertheless, he's been up at the higher weights. So his body, especially at this stage, is going to be weakened. And I think the body shots are going to be key for Naoya Inoue in this fight. Just looking at Nonito Donaire and how open he is from head and body, how sometimes he can focus too much on getting the arms up to block the head shots, that the body shots are there to be just chucked in for Naoya Inoue. So I think that that's what's going to happen. I think for Nonito Donaire, he's going to want to just, every time he sees Naoya Inoue launch them attacks, he's going to want to try and parry the jab. If he leaves his jab out, he's going to be first to the shot. He is going to want to, in my opinion, dip a little bit lower from the waist and try and take a little step in. Be wary of uppercuts coming in from Naoya Inoue, but try and get the left hook off. If you can hurt him with the right hand, the left hook is going to cause him all sorts of bother. But also, don't discount what you did in the first fight. Let the right hand go. You know, when Naoya Inoue chucks that jab out, if it's lazy, if it's left out too long, that right hand was there for you in the first fight, as you saw from some of the clips. It's going to be there in this fight for you again. So, my keys to victory for both guys. Donaire, lazy jabs from Naoya Inoue, counter with right hands. Dip underneath a couple of the shots from Naoya Inoue, counter with the left hook. Go to Naoya Inoue's body as well, and his eye. Target the eye with jabs, target the eye with right hands, target the eye with hooks, even if they're not full force hooks, as you saw from the hook he landed in the second round, which caused the cut. Target the eye that you already damaged. And that's my keys for Nonito Donaire to win. For Inoue, box, be the boxer, keep it at range, bull to matador, footwork, in and out movement, better judge of defense, stop leaving the hand out, stop leaving the jab hand out, and stop going into autopilot and bringing your hands down low. Swap the attack up, variety of shots, start with the head, move down to the body, feint a couple of shots to the head, go down to the body of Nonito Donaire. So there's some of my keys to victories for both guys. I got to give a pick on this fight. I'm going to go for, I've said it once, I'll say it again, one of my favourite fighters over the last 10 years has been Nonito Donaire, but I got to call it like I see it. I can't see it another than a Naoya Inoue win. I'm going to go once again on points. I don't think he's going to stop Donaire this time. I can't see a stoppage. I can see one or both of the guys getting dropped, but I can't see a stoppage. Naoya Inoue wins this fight, unanimous points decision. That's how I see it. Potentially could be Nonito Donaire's last fight. That's what I think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you liked this video. I hope you like me chucking in a little bit of footage about guys and seeing a few of the weaknesses, because a lot of people look at Naoya Inoue and think, how do you beat this guy? There's plenty of ways to beat him. There's plenty of weaknesses that he has as a fighter. Make no mistake about that. As you'll see just there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hope you enjoyed it, people. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. I'll talk to you. Peace.